Welcome back, guys. Today's true crime story is a very exceptional one because we are going to look at the story of the only woman who is currently on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitive list. Yeah, you heard me right. This woman is in a class of her own. It's alleged that she is currently on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitive list, and she's the only woman to currently make that list. Her name is Ruja Ignatova, and she is a Bulgarian-born German entrepreneur, best known as the founder of a fraudulent cryptocurrency scheme known as OneCoin. And if you are not familiar with this fraud, I'm going to get into it, but OneCoin has been described as one of the biggest scams in the history of human existence. She was the subject of the 2019 BBC podcast series titled The Missing Crypto Queen and the 2022 book, also titled The Missing Crypto Queen. As it stands now, Ruja Ignatova boarded a flight to Athens in Greece on the 25th of October 2017, and since then, she has not been seen to date. But guess what? Recent rumors surfacing are indicating that possibly Ruja Ignatova might actually be hiding in South Africa, down here on the continent of Africa. But before I get into that, let's get into the details of this woman and what she has done so far, and as to how come there's currently a reward money of up to $5 million on her head. Yeah, because since her disappearance, Ignatova has long been presumed to be on the run from various international law enforcement agencies, and some had also feared that maybe she had been unalived in 2018 on the orders of a Bulgarian organized crime figure by name Taki Christoforos Nikos Amanatidis, who was initially suspected of being the one sheltering her. So this whole mystery just gets bigger and bigger around this lady up until 2024, where it is now being rumored that she might actually be alive and has been hiding in South Africa on the African continent. But like I always say, in order to understand the present person, it is very important that we take a trip to the past of the person so we may have a chance to understand the person's present and possibly appreciate the possible future of this person. So we go back to the early life and education of this lady. Now, Ignatova was born in Bulgaria in 1980 to a Romani family. She emigrated to Germany with her family when she was just 10 years old and spent part of her childhood in Schramberg in the state of Baden-Württemberg in Germany. So she seemed like a normal girl. Any other girl, immigrant for that sort, with her family moving from one country to another, probably in search of greener pastures. To the point that even in 2005, she earned a PhD in private international law from the University of Constance in Germany, with the dissertation Chancen Pescum Reforce de Groske Am and Force, which discusses Les causa in conflict of laws. So this is a normal person. Normal in quotes. You wouldn't expect any crime from such a person. And to the point, even after her PhD, she reportedly worked for a company called McKinsey and Company. So she was a normal lady going through life up until 2012, where she would end up being convicted of fraud in Germany in connection with her father's acquisition of a company. Now, her father's name was Plamen Ignatov, and in this case, this lady was convicted in the part that she played in her father's acquisition of a company that was shortly afterwards end up being declared bankrupt in a dubious circumstance. So to this effect, she was given a suspended sentence of 14 months imprisonment. And I think that it's at this point that this lady's criminal stature begins to form, allegedly, or her alleged criminal stature, if I should put it that way. Because she was given this suspended sentence of 14 months imprisonment, and then in 2013, she was involved with a multi-level marketing scam called Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin. Let me spell it because I know there's Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. This is B-I-G coin. And most often than not, this is how some of these Ponzi schemes brand themselves to fool people who are not really technical and pay attention to details. So there's Bitcoin, B-I-T coin. And I'm sure we are all familiar with Bitcoin. But these guys went and created a Ponzi scheme and named it B-I-G, Bitcoin. So if you are seeing it and you are not paying attention to detail, either through the hearing of the word or reading of whatever memo they are sending to you, you may easily just mistake it for Bitcoin. And just like that, you'll be caught in the scam. So this multi-level marketing scam they created was called Bitcoin. And then moving on further from that, in 2014, she founded a pyramid scheme called OneCoin. This is just crazy. So this continued until the 25th of October 2017, where Ignatova would travel from Bulgaria to Athens in Greece and then would end up disappearing after she may possibly have been tipped off about increasing police investigations into this OneCoin Ponzi scheme that was being run. So she just boarded a flight to Greece and she vanished. But the search was ongoing for her, to the point that in 2019, her brother, called Konstantin Ignatov, pleaded guilty to fraud and money laundering in connection with the OneCoin scheme. In 2022, prosecutors in Germany confirmed an investigation of a lawyer for possible money laundering with regards to the transfer of 7.69 million euros by Ignatova into one of her private accounts in 2016. So you could see that at this point in time, investigations were really clamping down on all her associates, but she was in the wind without any trace. In January of 2022, police then searched apartments and offices of this pyramid scheme. And after that, the North Rhine-Westphalia Police and the German Federal Criminal Police Office announced that Ignatova is sought for fraud charges. The Federal Criminal Police Office also announced a reward of 5,000 euros for information leading to her arrest. It then escalated to the point where an Interpol Red Notice was also issued. So, this listing was reciprocated by Europol, adding Ignatova to its most wanted list. However, it was also noted that the Europol listing was removed under unknown circumstances after some time. So it seemed like the heat was just building up on Ruja Ignatova, and the climax would be when the US Federal Bureau of Investigation would eventually add Ignatova to its 10 most wanted fugitives list and announced at a joint press conference with the IRS Criminal Investigation and the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, that this was now official. The FBI followed up with an episode of its podcast and YouTube series Inside the FBI devoted to Ignatova and the OneCoin case, to the point that as of May 2022, there was a reward of up to $250,000 for any information leading to Ignatova's arrest. So it's like it couldn't get any worse for Ruja Ignatova, and one wouldn't expect maybe a woman to be this formidable in evading arrest and capture, to the point that the reward money had now been boosted up to 250,000 US dollars. But that was the case. And it wasn't even finished, because fast forward to June 2024, the reward money was then increased from 250,000 USD to a whopping 5 million US dollars as reward money for any information leading to the arrest of Ruja Ignatova. So it's like she's someone's walking lottery ticket. And when it gets to a point like this, even people in your own circle are likely to rat you out. Because 5 million US dollars is a whole lot of money, especially if they happen to even be in a country where the exchange rate of their currency to the dollar makes it even more huge of a sum. And to make matters worse, in August of 2024, a UK court ordered a global asset freeze of Ignatova and her OneCoin associates. So, this is where we are now. This is where we are now. And as it stands now, Ruja Ignatova is still on the run. Because while a 2022 interview with FBI special agent noted that the agency's investigations into Ignatova was operating under the assumption that she was still alive, because the agency had not been able to acquire any information that gave them any impression otherwise. It was also believed that possibly she could have been murdered by this Bulgarian crime boss by name Taki. Now, the alleged murderer, Christoph, who is also Bulgarian, is serving a sentence in a Dutch prison for drug trafficking. And according to this report, Ignatova was allegedly murdered aboard a yacht in the Ionian Sea, and her body was dismembered and thrown overboard. And it is being rumored that the alleged motive for this alleged murder was to conceal Taki's involvement in the OneCoin scam. So that is a possibility. It's possible she could have been murdered by this man who initially would have welcomed her under the guise of helping her escape the law by sheltering her, because he's also allegedly having a crime syndicate, and so he would have the resources to sort of help her evade capture and all. And to the point, there's the suspicion that he is also a co-conspirator of this OneCoin whatever. So he now, after getting her to trust him and he shelters her, he now allegedly turns on her and murders her, just so it doesn't lead the trail back to him as being a co-conspirator of whatever this OneCoin Ponzi scheme has done to people. So sort of him covering his back and tying off loose ends. It is a believable thing until you also flip it around and look at it as also a lie with the intent of misleading people and faking the death of Ruja Ignatova, whereas she's actually alive and not murdered. And that is what brings us to where we are today, where it is now allegedly being rumored that Ruja Ignatova is not dead, but is actually alive and living her life in South Africa, on the continent of Africa. And if that is the case, I would commend the investigation officers, the security agencies worldwide, collaborating and doing whatever they do to get to the bottom of these things, because it means that they didn't take the bait. As it stands now, she is believed to be hiding in Cape Town in South Africa, and the charges that have been leveled against her are still pending. These charges span from conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and several allegations where Ruja Ignatova is accused of scamming victims of over 4 billion US dollars. Some also say 15 billion US dollars allegedly since 2014 in Bulgaria and across Europe through her cryptocurrency scheme called OneCoin. So as it stands now, German police are investigating reports of her possible presence in South Africa, despite these unconfirmed rumors of her death. The reward money of 5 million US dollars is still active, and I can bet you, if she's anywhere in South Africa, I'm sure somebody will rat her out, because 5 million US dollars on the continent of Africa is quite a huge sum. And even if the indigents don't see her and rat her out, there's a possibility someone in her own circle may end up ratting her out, especially if they are arrested and offered a plea deal on top of the 5 million US dollars. I'm sure most people, especially the criminals, would have no honor among themselves and would fold on her, flip on her, and snitch on her. So let's see how this goes. I'll bring you any updates as and when they are available. But what do you think of this? You think she's actually in there in South Africa, as the rumors are saying, or you think she's actually dead and the security agencies are probably looking for a ghost? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. This is Ruja Ignatova, one of the FBI's most wanted top 10 fugitives, and in fact, rumored to be the only woman on that list. Subscribe to the channel, watch our other videos, turn on the post notification, leave your comments in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe out there.